Good morning. My name is Reverend Kylie Renner, and on behalf of the entire One Spiritual Center community, I want to welcome you here to my front yard this morning on this beautiful, beautiful morning. Can you believe that it's going to be in the 40s in a few days? I'm still not quite sure how we're going to make that transition. And if I'm telling you something you don't already know, surprise! There's no such thing as climate change. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. I've been reflecting on the incredible people in my life this week. And this morning we get to celebrate someone very special to all of us. And I'm so going to embarrass him right now because today is Sid's birthday, our very own. So we would love to sing him happy birthday to start it off, but we also have, and I think it's funny because we're going to make him play his own birthday song. But we also have in the audience today Sid's cousin, who they share the same birthday, which is, I think, spectacular. So happy birthday, Tanya, too. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Happy birthday. So let's sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
On your birthday. Is it really a birthday?
I think you did.
I think I did it. Number one. So the extraordinary people in my life are such a reminder about where we find our joy, where we find those who remind us about who we are when we can't see it ourselves, and the necessity to make sure that we are keeping those people close to us, especially in these times of uncertainty. And so I just am so grateful for all of you for being here today and for being that space of remembering and reminding each other through this time where we're obviously needing to figure out a new way. So thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for bringing and sharing your joy in this space. We're going to start with some prayer. So if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, we're just going to center into this space, this beautiful day, where we remember and remind each other of the power and the presence that is in and around us, guiding us. And I just know that this day is made in the mind and the heart and the love of the one. That each of us is part of that one, expressing its love in new ways every day. And so I open to allowing that love to flow through everything. As we open and we welcome whatever it is that is sitting inside of us that is asking for our sacred witness and our clear reflection. And so I'm just so grateful in advance for whatever it is that arises that allows for us to remember in a deeper way. And I lean into that, and I let it be. And so it is.
I see trees of green, red roses too, and I see them bloom for me. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, but also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how you do. They really say I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
So to prepare for our meditation this morning, I've chosen a poem, and we have a new meditation this morning, hot off the presses by the amazing John Bartlett. What is it called, John?
New opportunity.
It's called New Opportunity. Ooh, yay. So we'll be hearing that in a second, but I've chosen a poem to open us to that meditation this morning. And it's called With That Moon Language. Admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, "Love me." Of course, you do not do this out loud. Otherwise, someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this. This great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye, that is always saying with that sweet moon language what every other eye in this world is dying to hear. I'm going to say it again. Admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, "Love me." Of course, you do not do this out loud, otherwise someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye, that is always saying with that sweet moon language what every other eye in this world is dying to hear? So we just let the meditation move us to that space.
This is a lovely Brazilian tune that we learned this morning.
Brazilian. You got a Brazilian of them. There's a Brazilian of them.
Ready, Demi?
I'm so ready. It's German.
One, two, one.
Thank you guys. I'll never get over we just learned that this morning. I swear, all of it just is amazing to me. So thank you guys. So over the last few weeks, I've been trying to come up with an analogy to explain what it feels like to be human right now. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like the closest I can get to something that makes sense is to describe myself as some sort of really oversaturated sponge. Like I am so full of whatever that whenever even the littlest bit of pressure is exerted, I start to ooze all over the place. Like just because there's just so much. Like it has come from all directions, and it just keeps on going, and it feels relentless. Anyone? Yes. All right. So I've been thinking about that sense of like how if I'm this oversaturated sponge and any little bit of pressure is causing things to come out, what do I want to make sure what is oozing out of me? Because what could be oozing out of me is a sense of powerlessness, a sense of being angry and righteous, or what could be oozing out of me could be something deeper. And it could be a sense of what is really longed for right now, which I believe is so beautifully spoken in that poem, is like the sense of a deeper love. And if I can be conscious enough of what I am filled with and filling myself with, can I really move from this place in which I can talk about love and what I value and then move it from some sort of intellectual practice into an actual movement from inside of me that oozes out of me, even when I'm stressed, even when I'm off center, even when I can't find my balance. Like, can I make sure that at least on some level what is coming out of me is is this deeper thing that I want to be experiencing in the world, this love that I know is possible. And so I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about this kind of love that sent us here, this love that shot us here through all of eternity, that's actually asking for us to stop moving it into some intellectual space of understanding, but actually move it into practice. And I know that this is something that is required in a deeper way right now because it's so hard to practice. And so it's so funny, right? On this earth plane, these lessons and these things that we're asked to participate in, it's like when it's hardest, it's absolutely the most necessary. And it's hard to get to love, right? When we are feeling overwhelmed. It's really, really hard to get there sometimes when we're feeling like, oh my God, what's the next thing that could possibly cause us to say, what the hell is going on here, right? Like, what is that? And it's so hard to get to love, which means it is so much more necessary. And it is so much more necessary for us to make sure that we're cultivating and practicing that call back to love when we get off center, because if we are letting what oozes out of the sponge that we are be more of what we don't want to be participating in, then all we're doing is continuing to perpetuate that which has always been. And I'm saying this from the perspective of obviously something that I am needing to practice right now, because when I become aware of what is oozing out of me, sometimes I don't like it. Right? Sometimes I don't like that, and it is a call back to making sure that what is coming out of that experience or this expression is in alignment with what I really want to be becoming. And doing that in a way that allows for things to move forward and expand, especially because there's so many people feeling so off center. It's like we're all behaving badly around each other as well. You know, it becomes this sense of, because no one can find their center, everyone is just oozing ickiness all over everything. And I just recognize that there's a huge opportunity to take this moment we're living in and find this deeper place of love in us and make sure that we make it become something ordinary instead of extraordinary. So a few years ago, I had a conversation with someone I didn't know very well, and the conversation went something like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. And it was at a restaurant that Zephyr and I went to regularly. And they're like, we haven't seen you in a while. We were really, thinking about you and hoping you were okay. And I said, yeah, no, we're great. It's so nice that you were thinking of us. And I ended up having this conversation that goes like, so, why were you thinking of us? And they literally said, when you are here, we can tell you care. We can feel it. And we remember that. And we miss it when it's not here. And it struck me so deeply at the time. They also said that when we're not around, they imagine us on amazing vacations, which I love. The idea that that if you haven't seen someone for a while, you're like, oh, they're in the Bahamas, enjoying themselves. That's where they are. They're not working too hard, and that's why they can't get a minute away from anything. But this deep sense of like, how do we make sure that when we're engaging in the ordinary things in our lives, we are bringing the kind of care and the kind of love that is at the center of who we are, so that people can experience that, because that's what we're all longing for, right? We're all longing for that connection. And that's really what this practice is about. It's not about, doing extraordinary things. It's about doing the most ordinary things that we do every single day, but with deep love. That we brush our teeth with deep love, that we get dressed with deep love, that we do laundry with deep love, that we do all of the things that make life move forward, but we do them from this extraordinary place inside of us. And I think that when we start to give ourselves permission to provide that kind of reverence into the things that we do and that kind of care, that we move ourselves into a different space of how we get to show up and what gets to show up through us, and then what is possible because of that. And this sense in which all of the spiritual work that we do on the inside then becomes this expression of remembering what sent us here. And so I think about it from my own process of the inner work of remembering, and that inner work of remembering constantly in some deeper way that love is really what sent me here. And that then it is my job as someone being given the gift of human form to then make sure that I'm making that love visible, that I'm putting that love in motion. And putting it in motion and taking that deeper experience and making it and putting it into form, I believe, is what all of the great spiritual teachers who have gone before us have been trying to show us. Like that truly that's what humans are capable of, and how healing it is to bring that to the world, because we forget, right? We forget, and we get caught up in drama, and we get caught up in the next news cycle, and we get caught up in what we think is going on, and we get caught up in all the things that feel different. And the world is the real world, the deeper world that we're participating in, doesn't want to be manipulated by our small idea of it. It doesn't want to be manipulated into the parameters that we place on it, and so it's constantly rebelling against it. And it is then a requirement for us to find some sort of place to find a balance between like this kind of sense of how do we bring that love while still making sure that we are filled up enough to do it. And what I mean by this is this kind of dichotomy that happens, because I think we start to express it in this way. And I'm going to go backwards because I need to explain where I'm thinking about, or what I'm thinking about from this perspective. So there's this Tibetan goddess, or Tibetan deity, and it's pronounced several different ways, but I'm going to do Tara this morning. So Tara is a deity of compassion, and she's expressed in a posture that has two sides of it usually. And the one is this posture that's expressing kind of an inaction. There's this wise compassion, while at the same time there's an active portion of how she's exposed, like this willingness to care and to protect and to move from that place of contemplation into action. And those two things are just expressed in usually when they're expressed in this deity, they're expressed at the same time, because ultimately what they're saying is that this is what compassion is about. This is what that kind of love is about, is the capacity to both be internal and external at the same time. So the Hermetic teaching taught it as above, so below. And the Tibetans talk about it as these two things being able to be encompassed in one being at the same time. And I think that what happens, and this is where I was going before, excuse my being all over the place this morning, but the sense in which sometimes we get so focused on the love or the justice or the safety part outside that we forget about the internal part. Or sometimes we get so focused on the internal part, we forget about the external part, and neither of those things are sustainable. Neither of those ways are bringing the fullness of what it means to be human to light. It's this other thing, this other practice of being able to do both, right? To be internal in terms of remembering who we are and our source and our values and what sent us here and why we're here and that love that's inside of us, and then being able to take that as into action and to do both of those things at the same time, or to continuously be bringing ourselves back to both of those things is the real practice of being truly human. And it's so funny that it would seem like only one of those would be necessary, and truly I think that all of the great teachers have shown us that you can't do one without the other. You cannot do any of the great work that we are called to do. You can't bring any of that deeper love without making sure that we're also bringing that other place with us. And we can't forget, because when we forget, then we end up getting depleted, and what starts oozing out of us is less than what we truly are. And we get to take responsibility for that. So sorry, folks, if I've oozed out on you anything recently. Sorry, honey. There might have been a little bit of that recently. I don't know. Anyone? No, no one else. But the sense of, like, how do we make sure that we remember that is always the practice, to not just to do the internal work to do for the internal work's sake, or not just to do the activism work or the justice work or the peace and love work or the democracy work or whatever it is we're called to, not to do that, just that, but to find this balance, or this place in which one is leading us deeper into the other, and one is leading us deeper and deeper and deeper. And I love you. Have I told you how much I love motorcycles? I figure if I just talk about how much I love them, that I'll have a different relationship with them. So someone once wise said, to know God without being godlike is trying to swim without entering the water. And so we can talk a lot about the practice of love and as some intellectual practice, and it's a whole different thing to get in the water, to rub up against the things that we end up rubbing up against inside of ourselves and in the world, to encounter what it feels like to sometimes get what feels like the absence of love, or even a call to love. Like, we just end up in this practice then of discovering where there's room for us to remember that really our job is to put the love that is calling us into motion in whatever way we're called to it, and to do that by not necessarily doing extraordinary things, not by necessarily creating world peace or curing cancer, but like really just bringing it into the daily minute things that we do. So I heard a radio interview years ago about a chef who was being asked why exactly his barbecue ribs were so amazing. And the interviewer was obviously trying to ask for some scientific approach to what exactly the combination of ingredients, was, and process was making his recipe so special. And so the chef, knowing that that's what the interviewer was going after, started talking about, the seasonings and how he had specifically created his barbecue pit. But then he hesitated for a moment, and you could tell he's like, do I bring this part here? You can tell sometimes that someone's thinking. And he says that when he was working with the ingredients, he would, every time he made something, he would picture people he really loved. And he would be imagining that everything he was creating and putting his energy into was going to serve someone he really loved. And that he was infusing everything with that energy. And that in fact was his secret to all of his recipes, was that he was imagining that that his love was going into it. And this gave him meaning and purpose in what he was doing. And he was imparting something that obviously people could experience and feel without even knowing what it was. And I think that I was struck by this at the time because it feels like so often we just get into the groove of needing to eat, or needing to go to the grocery store, needing to whatever it is, whatever that task is. And we forget that truly that we have the power to put into that which we are offering or giving even to ourselves. We have the power to put something deeper in action and in motion in that if we're willing to bring that awareness. And the gift is that we get to continue to remind ourselves of this and to bring ourselves back to that place where we're constantly bringing into action and into form a deeper sense of who we really are and what we remember. Because every time we make a shift internally, there's more love then for us to be bringing more awareness. And there's more space for spirit to move. So I just know that if you're like me during this time where we're all just kind of trying to figure it out, like what does any of this mean? What is life going to look like on the other side? Is there another side? All of that of this, right? Like how is it then that we want to be bringing ourselves to it? Instead of this idea of, after this happens, then we can have that conversation. Or after this and this and this and this fall in place, then. This is a different thing, I think. It's this moment, right, where we're in, and what is it that we really want to be bringing, and how do we want to be bringing what we know is possible, even in the midst of this, more fully alive, so that we can all experience that which we're really seeking to experience instead of all of the other things that could be catching us right now and pulling us off center. And so this is just one of those places where I feel like we just need to, these places in time where we just need to remember that, yeah, all of that stuff is happening, right? All of the things are happening, and love sent us here to put it in motion. And we don't have to be doing it in some extraordinary way that it gets recognized by anyone else. All we are called to do is to make sure that we are continuing to remember that we are love in action, love in form, love in motion, love in meditation, love in our quietness. That is all that we are. And we're being asked to, if we're oozing out something else from that sponge, to continue to practice that internal space in a deep enough way so that which gets oozed out is in alignment with who we are becoming. And I also ask us to be gentle with ourselves in this, because it's challenging. I'm not saying that this is not extraordinary work, right? Like, and that's what's so funny about the great teachers before us, is like they didn't get to those holy places by doing extraordinary things. They got there by doing ordinary things, but in such extraordinary ways, right? In ways that are recognized because they're so different, because they feel different, because they're experienced differently, because they're healing. And so this practice is not necessarily it seems so easy or so easy to talk about, but what it really is an extraordinary way of being a human. And we have it inside of us, and it's calling to us, and we get to be gentle to do this hard work, because it takes a lot of effort. but it is, I believe, what is calling us. And this is the kind of love that takes an effort, even when there's no reward, and there's no recognition, and there's no anything that makes sense to anyone else. This is something deeper, and I think that's, if I'm going to take anything from this time that feels so challenging, is that there's an opportunity for us to become more of the love that sent us here, even in the most challenging times. And so I'm going to ask the band to come up, because we're going to sing into our prayer. And as we prepare the way for that, maybe I'm going to ask you to think about some place. Maybe you've been oozing out something other than what you want to be oozing out. I just saw like pus. Ew. Yuck, sorry. You're welcome. That's how my brain works sometimes. I'm like, ew, that just sounds gross. How about oozing out honey, like a honeycomb? And we're going to think about and let Spirit guide us and how we take the inner steps to make sure that we are in alignment, so that we may be moving from a deeper place of love, so that we can bring that more fully onto this planet that is so calling for it at this time. So please join me as we sing into our prayer.
Lifts us high, it heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high, it heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high, it heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high, heals us, sustains us, and sets us free.
Our prayer of love today is a prayer that remembers. A prayer that remembers the love that sent us here. A prayer that remembers the love that has come before this moment, that is guiding and directing us in a deeper expression as we find those places inside of us that are calling for our clear reflection. And as we allow ourselves to move to a deeper place of love, I just know that Spirit responds and provides absolutely everything we need, so that we may move that love into action and form and motion, so that we move it from just an internal remembering into the form that is so called for right now, as we make it manifest, as we bring it into being, as we answer prayer. We move from a place of praying for something into a space of being the prayer, being that which is bringing what we know is possible onto this planet. And so we become a space of that love and that care and that kindness through our willingness to do the deep, powerful remembering that we've been called here to do. And so we remember and we move into action, and we remember and we move. And these flow into this beautiful dance that is what being truly alive is all about. And so we accept this promise from the infinite that it will continue to guide and love us and support us in every direction, and we allow that guidance to take us wherever it takes us. Because we know that Spirit knows how to move us. And so we just open to that deeper love. We let it ooze out of us like honey oozing out of a honeycomb. We take it with us wherever we go, in whatever we do. And that energy changes things. It changes us and it changes things. And go into that. We let go into how good it feels to remember the love that we are. And we let it be. And so it is.
Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free.
Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for all of the love that you continue to share with this community. I want to thank you for all of the financial contributions that come in all of the ways that they come in. So there are baskets hanging from the trees if you'd like to make a contribution in that way, or else our website has a place for that to happen as well. And we just appreciate all of the love that allows us to keep on bringing that love of this community here in a time when people keep telling me how necessary it is that we keep doing what we're doing. So thank you for helping support that. This is a funny thing to say, but please make sure you leave with your own chair today. There were two of you. I totally think it was because that it wasn't that I already had 15 extra chairs added to my life this week. Then you guys left two, and then Zephyr found another one. So we had 18 new chairs in the house this week. Woohoo! Because there's only two butts in this house, so we need 18 more extra chairs. Yay! Yeah, overflowing. What if you squeeze me right now, a chair comes out. That's what oozes out of me. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your chair with you when you leave. Thank you for taking bagels with you when you leave. That would be appreciated as well. We will be back at Roadrunner Food Bank on the 4th Saturday of this month as a group. If you want more information about that, please let me know. It's another place where we put our love in motion as a community. So thank you in advance for joining us with that. I know we also have people out in the community right now doing census work, so we're sending love with them while they're not here. Helping make that census thing go. So thanks for that. And let's see. I believe we're ready to sing. Happy birthday again to Sid and Tanya. And actually, I see Dan back there. He had a birthday too. Cool. Let's sing. Blessing to sing to one another.
Thank